Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dad of Boy. We're in the home stretch. We got out of hell a second time in the same game.
A second time in this game, which
Yes.
means it's like
Really makes you miss the Hermes boots.
10 or 12.
Yeah. I mean, our son is well on his way in his new punch card.
This is it.
He'll get his reward yet.
So, I was in the Shadow Realm for a couple
Holy
of
fuck.
sessions. Why was Kratos glowing like he's in a Gatorade
That's just a
commercial?
perk I have. Or if I run a certain amount of
okay.
time, I become impervious to knockback.
That's electrolytes,
Okay.
baby.
I'm trying to finish some electrolytes. If
Do
you
we have a sponsorship
wasn't-
yet for one of those powdered drink
I'm
companies?
Star Runner. I was not expecting that.
Oh, man. You know, okay. Like, have any of you all ever tried Powerade?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause-
That was basically my elixir of life in college.
Oh, so you actually like
I
Powerade.
ordered a-
Okay.
Well, it was more like it was the only thing I had, and I learned to love it.
Well, I mean,
Okay, because it's just one of those things where Powerade and Dasani are both Coca-Cola products, and I've come to realize that the Coca-Cola company cannot make anything that's not soda, which is a little bit sad considering one of those products is water, and they can't make water.
I don't understand. Why does everybody, maybe you guys can clarify this for me then, why do people dunk on Dasani? Because
Because it tastes bad.
It's water.
And it's water.
it's
No,
got
you-
stuff in it that makes it taste bad, you know?
I've
Yeah.
had plenty of bottles, and maybe my taste buds are dead. You can make an argument for it, but
So, okay, so let me put it to you this way. Do you know about the Disney World water?
Looks like more giant.
are we talking about the stuff you can get at the vending machines, or the shit you're swimming over in, like, It's a Small World or something?
No, so the water that like comes out of the tap or the water fountains they have on the property, because of how that area of Florida's water system is set up, like the wells and stuff they get the water from, it's got a lot of sulfur in it, and it tastes terrible. But here's the thing: people will still.
We're on the other side of the door.
And I'm not just talking about the price either, because a bottle of water at Disney World's like $8. But people will still prefer the taste of that, like sulfur ass water, to Dasani. It's like, yeah. There are pictures of hurricane preppers like going into a grocery store right before a storm, and then all the bottled water's gone except for the big 62 pack.
There's a
of
joke
Dasani.
in Persona 5 where you're not supposed to drink foreign water because of the way the water system works. So when they're in Hawaii, one of the side characters literally gets sick and is stuck in the bathroom because they drank the tap water. And, you know, I don't know how realistic that is, but sometimes water can just be terrible.
I have heard not to drink the tap water in Hawaii.
Things are happening.
I guess that bloody bag in the Silent Hills demo had a point then.
I mean, maybe Hawaii is just like super sulfur tap water. I don't know. But
Well, they're on a volcano.
so it would make sense.
So, yeah. Do we have any Hawaiian viewers? Please educate us in the comments down below. On your way down, please remember to click that like button and tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of our bullshit.
I don't want to brag, but I have definitely heard of Hawaii.
You've heard of Hawaii?
It's a mythological land that may exist somewhere.
No, I've been to Hawaii. I've been.
Yeah, I heard Hawaii exists.
The
in
mysterious 50th state that people insist is part of our country. I don't know. I last time I counted, we stopped at 48, but
Hawaii. You know, honestly, Hawaii has more claim to being a state than South Dakota. So you
North
know.
and South Dakota need to put aside their difference and become just one big Dakota.
Yeah, and then when we add Puerto Rico as a state, we'll still be a nice 50. See, it'll all work out.
I mean,
I think Puerto Rico maybe wanted to stay a Commonwealth.
well,
I'm not
yeah. I actually had a coworker when I was at an Amazon who lived in Puerto Rico for a fair chunk of their life, and what they told me was that a large part of the reason Puerto Rico hasn't become a state is because they just don't want to, by and
Yeah,
large.
they do not want to.
That makes sense. So what the hell's with the Indiana Jones death traps?
It's something to do on our way to the location.
it also has to give the game the Pandora's Temple-esque traps from like the original trilogy.
Yeah.
What I'm just imagining, like
Whack.
Kratos.
I saw that coming. I knew the timing couldn't be that simple.
Wait, so hold the phone. Kratos can survive being punched by literal gods, but getting hit with some spikes that didn't even pierce his armor is gonna
I
kill
guess.
him. Okay, whatever. No, but now I'm just imagining Kratos wearing the hat and then shouting instead of "boy, it belongs in a museum."
Why did you freeze it when it's down here? Oh, you're altering the timing, right? Okay.
Like my arm hurts. I'm trying to warm it up. Wait, is that okay? I was about to ask. It's like, why was the right side of that like box so blue? Thought we were looking at like a reflection of Hawaii. It's like, holy shit, how topical.
Don't you mean how tropical?
Oh. Wait,
Didn't you guys miss me?
I mean, I assume since we were at the time I was recording, Kirby just came out, so I assume we've both beaten Guy Trieri, Ted.
Yeah, I beat him last night before going to.
I'm not gonna ask for context since I do plan on playing the game myself, but I am very interested.
Oh,
in
he was in the
guide.
he was in the trailer.
I didn't watch any of the trailers for Forgotten Land.
Okay. Wispy Woods grew a goatee.
Oh, so now it's Guy Trieri. Okay, I see now.
Made a good call not watching a Nintendo trailer because Nintendo's been really bad about trailer spoilers lately.
They always spoil a lot of shit.
They thankfully, as far as I can tell, haven't been too bad with Kirby. There's like maybe been one scene from anything past World 3. So
Did you miss this? No.
I think what they need to do is that at one point or another, and this goes for like every future trailer, they just like intersplice a frame of Thanos from Avengers with no fucking context, just to keep people on their toes. And then when they realize that I'm playing the game that Thanos is not there, they can't trust Nintendo anymore. And there you go, bada boom, problem solved.
No, instead they should do Spoiler, who is Stephanie Brown's alter ego after she stopped being Robin for a while and Batgirl for a while.
Yeah. Are you talking about the character spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just have her running about on screen for no reason, just to warn people.
is this in regards to the new
No.
Batman movie? Because I have
No,
not watched
no,
it.
Stephanie Brown's never been in any live action stuff, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
I'll tell you though, one thing though, like if they ever put that character inside a live action movie, I can tell you the only joke they'll have for that character, because that's all they do in the comic books is, your name's Spoiler? What do you, spoil movies?
Yeah.
That's all they do with that character. No, at least Lois found it funny.
Is that really the only joke?
It's like every
they
time I've
tell
seen
about-
the character spoiler, any sort of like comic book where she is a part of something, that is the immediate joke they make. Is that her name is Spoiler.
You see, the only thing that I think could make that joke funny is if her like catchphrase became spoiler alert.
I mean, that could work.
Although I don't think comic heroes really have catchphrase anymore, unless if they're like
No.
grandfathered in.
I mean,
from the
so-
I was gonna say the grandfather clause, or they're made for a really young.
Occasionally, one of them will jokingly create a catchphrase, but it's usually like the sarcastic ones, like Spider-Man or something.
Or it could be like a son of like a dig at a character for being pathetic.
Yeah, but I mean, oh wait, no, they made a Fantastic Four comic again. I forgot. Marvel stopped.
All
being
those
petty
enemies
for 5
tried to
minutes.
walk in through the
Yeah.
trapped hallway and got crushed.
I want to say
Yeah,
only new catchphrase I've seen that actually catches on is "Hell yeah, Kite Man."
yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, no, they. Oh, yeah, they brought back the Fantastic Four. I'm sure they still have things say clobbering time every once in a while.
But that's what I mean by it. That's likely just grandfather clause though at this point.
Is Cyborg's
Yeah.
Booyah grandfather clause, or is that?
I would say so. Yeah. I would say it's more of a relic of the '90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, it was more like a tick than like a catchphrase, I would say, though, because like Booyah is something anybody can say. It's just something he said a lot.
At that point, though, that it transforms into a catchphrase. Yeah, if it sticks with that character.
I don't remember them like making any big deal about it in the actual show
It just became
itself.
associated
Like,
with him, so every future incarnation has to use it at some point.
Yeah, I remember when Cyborg was like revealed for like Injustice and all that sort of thing, and when he said "Booyah," like when his Twitter clip go popped off because I guess they were still hankering for Teen Titans. But people usually such a thing.
I mean, Teen Titans is just in a weird spot where there's simultaneously a lot of nostalgia for the 2000 show, and actually, you know what? I was going to say something about Teen Titans Go, but Teen Titans Go has been on the air for such a long time. There are probably actual teenagers nostalgic for Teen Titans Go.
I think it's because we live in an era where, out of nowhere, or at least it seems with enough support, we will get very short revitalizations on streaming services.
Yeah.
And I think what people really want, at the very least, is to get some sense of finality with Teen Titans OG run.
I think the people who are like really nostalgic toward the OG Teen Titans show are mostly attached to Young Justice right now.
Nobody killed him.
Because
Well,
it's
right
got,
now, it's
yeah.
similar enough. It's one of those things where you ask the Teen Titans fan base, and they're not going to go, "Oh, we want 10 more seasons, want it to go on forever," sort of thing. It's like we mostly just want like half a season, maybe a full season, just wrapping things up, and then you can just.
I would say like a mini series at this point. Just like wrap up loose ends that maybe I never watched Teen Titans, so I don't know exactly what the issue was with the ending.
They
where
never
it did.
resolved the Slade subplots. They brought back Terra in the last episode, and we never explained what the hell was up with that.
I mean, the last arc was Raven's
No,
dad,
it was
right?
the Doom Patrol with Brotherhood of Evil.
Okay, then I'm misremembering that stuff then, because the last arc I remember watching was the one with Raven's dad, which I
Also,
thought
everyone
was
got
really
a
good.
season-long arc except for Starfire.
Wait, no, Starfire got an arc.
She
Like,
got
their
episodes.
sister
I'm
and
talking
going
about
to
like
space and shit.
season-long things where like Robin had Slade, and then Cyborg had Brother Blood, and Raven had her dad thing. So.
What did Beast Boy have?
Well, Beast Boy never. Well,
Well,
Beast
no,
Boy's a
he
comic relief
did with the
character, but
last season with Doom Patrol and Brotherhood and Evil and stuff.
Oh.
So I was that was the last season, yeah. So I'm more talking about like a season long progression thing rather than individual episodes dedicated to them. Because every season has episodes dedicated to a character. So
I appreciate Teen Titans by and large for what it does as a show, but at the same time, I also can't bring myself to care about the show half as much as people who do care about it do.
I think that's kind of where I fall in line with it, because it just didn't grab me or appeal to me the same way as the animated series did, or hell, even the Batman. Like, it might be like heresy to admit that like I've watched the entirety of the Batman multiple times and still not watched Teen Titans.
I just finished a rewatch of that actually because it just came out on Blu-ray. So
What, the Batman?
it's one.
Yeah.
It's,
is that the one with Cyborg John Wilkes
No.
Booth?
that's probably Brave and the Bold.
It's the one with like the Rastafarian Joker.
Yeah, and
like,
and to be fair, the Rastafarian Joker is the only thing that I don't really care for in that show.
Well, I don't care for Mr. Freeze on that show, but
Nah, Mr. Freeze is pretty generic in that one too. I know we said it time and time again in this channel, but that show really does pick up after like the middle of the first season.
well, there's 60-some episodes. You got to get about halfway through the series before it really picks up.
Yeah, like starting with season 2 and beyond, when they like bring in Batgirl and Robin, and it becomes more of an ensemble sort of like animated series. I think it really finds its ground.
Yeah, and people told me to watch 40 episodes of Steven
Which is
Universe
always the,
to-
I mean, but that's always the tried and true issue of every fucking thing that we recommend to
I
people.
mean, the difference is there's no real ongoing plot for the Batman, so you can literally just skip like the first 20 episodes and be
There's
fine.
some fun
Yeah.
/ exasperating trivia that I learned recently about the Batman, and it actually ties in with the Justice League Unlimited animated series, which was running around the same time.
The Bat embargo.
Yes, the Bat embargo. They weren't allowed to use the same characters for multiple things at the same time. So, like, apart from, I think, the Joker, who was allowed to be in things,
Yeah.
they weren't allowed to use Bane because Dark Knight Rises called dibs on Bane.
Well, no, they brought a Bane in pretty soon. They weren't allowed to use
They
Two-Face.
used certain characters later on after the Bat embargo ended. But
Yeah.
early on, they weren't allowed to use Robin because Robin was in Teen Titans.
Yes.
Wait, is this like regarding everything with Batman in it going on in the late 2000s?
Yeah, they didn't want to have a lot of overlap between shows because they were afraid it was going to confuse people.
They didn't
but
want to
it's
confuse people by having a different version of the same character in different...
across like 3 different
Yeah,
things.
as if that would have
Which is why a lot of villains from the Batman or like from the Silver Age era or
Well, okay, well, sucks to be you, Warner Brothers. Batman's in all of them. I'm confused.
checkmate.
Check
So
me,
that's why,
atheists.
like, none of the Batman villains appear in the Justice League cartoons, and the Joker makes his last appearance very early on, before this embargo happened. And then...
To be fair, in case of Justice League, I feel like Batman villains generally aren't on the scale that that kind of show, like, requires.
But, like, they weren't even allowed to, like, show up as, like, bit part characters in the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
You know?
It also wound up being in Teen Titans' favor because it meant it couldn't just be the sidekick show. They used everyone but the sidekicks except for Robin, and it made them really popular as a result.
Yeah. And then in the Batman's case, they weren't allowed to use Robin, so they introduced Batgirl first. And Robin didn't show up until way later after the Bat embargo was lifted. So that's why Batgirl got to be the sidekick for that show instead of Robin.
Which I think benefited the character.
Well, yeah,
like,
Batgirl was seriously short-sold in the Batman animated series. She got like 3 episodes. So, which is unfortunate because I really like that iteration of Batgirl.
Honestly, you were talking about how it worked in Teen Titans' favor. This might just be my experience, but I remember, like, Robin being, like, the least interesting character in that show.
Well, they did
Like-
they did interesting things with him, but
Robin in that show was legitimately confusing because he was Dick Grayson, but he looked like Tim Drake. And,
Well, as somebody who didn't know any of the backstory behind him, he just looked like Robin to me, you know. And they never called him by his name, or they like reference his
it's
backstory.
more like the most
once.
recent Batman thing
So-
before Teen Titans was the Batman animated series where Tim Drake had just become Robin and Dick Grayson had become Nightwing. But then we go into Teen Titans, which looks very unlike the animated series, except for the part where Robin looks exactly like his animated series Tim Drake counterpart.
yeah, it's pretty. It's like they like obviously they gave him like the Jackie Chan Adventures like makeover, but it was still pretty Tim.
Yeah,
Drake
he looked
from
like Tim Drake, but he was
TAS.
but he was actually Dick Grayson. So it, like, I think everyone who watched that show immediately after the shows that were running beforehand were like wait, which Robin is this?